What's up, YouTubers? Dave here. So over the years, I've tried many different types of keyboards. I've tried the stock Google ones, Swipe, SwiftKey, TouchPal, and etc. etc. So, but the thing is, they've all been relatively kind of the same in a way. They've all been really big, taking up at least like almost half the screen size, and that's understandable because there's 26 letters. You have spacing, yada yada. But about a week ago, a new innovative keyboard was just released on beta, and I backed it on Indiegogo, I believe it was. So let me show you really quick. It is called Minuum. Now, as you obviously can see from the very beginning, it's very different from other keyboards. Instead of taking up a full, half of the screen, it takes up a little tiny row. What basically Minuum does, it takes a full QWERTY keyboard and squeezes it down to a whole, just one single row of jagged letters. It looks like a bit of a mess, but in actuality, it takes a little bit of training to yourself, and it functions like a regular keyboard. So let's run a really quick test. This is a test of the Minuum Keyboard. As you can see, it works fairly well. The Minuum Keyboard isn't really for precision typing, it's more for speed typing and just, saving room. So the basic concept is you press in the general area of the letter, and as you're typing, the keyboard will predict what you're trying to spell, and it'll give you word suggestions that you can scroll through up here. So let's try, my name, David. I typed in David, and it'll give me a suggestion, but it also gives me suggestions to other things I possibly could have aimed for. Let's see, Favor, Eagle, Cable, Davis, Farms, Defoe. So it works pretty well, and there's also a few gestures. So when I swipe, as you can see, there's 4 options here for space, delete, settings, or enter. Of course, you don't have to use these gestures. If you go into the Minuum settings, which I'll show you really quickly. Minuum, there you go. There's actually a whole slew of settings you can go through. You can actually add a spacebar if you don't feel like using the space gesture. You can disable gestures. Learn as you type, vibrate on touch, sorry. Double space for period. You can also change the size of the keyboard, like how big do you want the space bar, how big do you want the keyboard itself, or the prediction bar. And you also can import your Android dictionary and your contacts, which is a big help, honestly. And as you can see, it's running the 1.0 beta, if my camera wants to focus on that. Please, camera. There you go. So is Minuum perfect? No. It's missing a few key things like voice to text, and precision typing is kind of a pain. So say you need to type in an email address and a password. It's fairly hard to do with just, regular typing and stuff. So instead, you have the way to do specific letters, you will hold and select the letter, as you can see. So I specifically selected N, then E again, D, see, need. So it's a bit of a hassle to do all that, just to do a password and an email address. So typically when I had to do passwords or emails, I would switch back to SwiftKey or the Google keyboard and just, type my passwords that way. Hopefully a full regular keyboard will be implemented, so that way you can still do password typing and then just switch back to this. But until then, it's a crude way to do it. So honestly, I've enjoyed using the Minuum keyboard. So Minuum isn't perfect, but again, it's fun to use, and the whole point of it is to save room on the screen when you're typing, which it does fairly well. Again, hopefully there'll be added features down the road, and typing might be a little fixed, because occasionally there will be slight lag when I'm typing. Again, beta, things will get fixed. So that's pretty much from me. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this, and I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.